Welcome to the 1 Million Years of Joy podcast. I'm Dr. Andrea Mathieu, your host, and my intention is to inspire you to find more joy in your life through the stories from our guests and the science on joy and purpose. I'm delighted to introduce to you Manuel Mathieu, who is a brilliant artist working with painting, ceramics, and installations. Born in Haiti, he emigrated to Montreal at the age of 19, and he obtained his MFA degree from Goldsmiths University of London. His art has been exhibited in various museums and galleries around the world, and he has won several awards. Most recently, his first film, Pendulum, won the award for the best short film at the International Festival of Films on Art. I had the pleasure of meeting Manuel years ago, just before his phenomenal exhibition at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, and while we were both on the board of directors of the Angel Circle of the museum. I'm so happy to be here with you today, Manuel, and I'm so impressed by the accomplishments you've made since we've known each other. And it's so beautiful to see your journey, and I was curious to learn more about the younger version of Manuel.
Yes.
While you were in Haiti, inspired by your cousin, who is also an artist. Tell us more about the beginning of that spark whereby the artist within you emerged.
Well, thankfully, I grew up in an environment where I had my mother who collected art. So I was already surrounded by a lot of beauty, and I mean, also the country is a pearl. Right now we're going through a lot, but I grew up in a beautiful environment, a loving environment. And when I met Mario, he actually introduced me to a bunch of international artists at the time. I was already spending time with him, with Haitian artists, but then he kind of bridged what was happening internationally and what was happening in the country. And through books and catalogs, I discovered a bunch of artists, and pretty quickly I understood that this is what I wanted to do, because I felt like these artists, they were actually doing things that were coming out of their souls, and it was infinite, right? So I was at 15, I was like, I want to live like that. Yeah.
So
that's
beautiful.
How it basically happened.
So beautiful. And while you were in Haiti and immersed by this beauty and culture and so on, what sparked you to actually to move away from Haiti to come to Canada? Tell us more a little bit about that journey.
Well, I am fortunate enough, I was fortunate enough to have family outside of Haiti and be able to go study outside of Haiti. So that's the context that I left to go spend time with my grandmother and also study. And she lived at Blainville, and my sister was already in Canada at the time. So after my bachelor degree, I studied a bit of photography in Haiti with Roberto Stevenson. And then after that, I went to follow up my studies in Canada. So it's because my family left, my grandmother left Haiti a little bit after the dictatorship. After Jean-Claude left, so I think she came to Montreal.
And you've created so many different works of art since you started as an artist, from beautiful paintings, sculptures, and most recently, you've created a beautiful film, Pendulum, that has actually won an award. So tell us about the inspiration for creating that movie itself, which has been very, very well received by the media and the film industry. So you're really evolving as an artist much more broadly than what we've seen you do so far.
Yes, the way I understand my work is I like to say that I think with my paintings. So it's in that context of thinking and using the medium as a tool to express my thoughts that I started using other mediums, whether it's sculpture, mosaics, and cinema. And the the thing with cinema, which is very different than paintings, it's actually it's a temporality. You know, when you're making a movie, you're playing with the empathy of the spectator for a very limited amount of time. You know, and you can manipulate that time the way you see fit, which is very different than a painting, where everything is given to you very. And the second that you put your eyes on it, for sure you can dig in through the meanings and the connections within the paintings. But just this, for what I wanted to express, which was very complex. If you see Pendulum, you understand there's many things that are happening that are overlapping. I couldn't use painting only to do it. So, I mean, there's some painting elements in Pendulum, but I think what's most important is that the material that I'm using is actually the actors, which is actually for me the main medium in cinema. There's temporality, but you're actually dealing with people, you know.
And tell us about joy. Let's talk about your joys in life. What brings you the most joy?
That's an interesting question. I mean, it's a simple but very complex question at the same time. I mean, I love the life I'm living right now. I'm trying to, give and take as much as I can. And I think what brings me joy is the capacity to manifest the things that I would like to see in the world. You know, whether it's painting or organizations or helping people or certain collaborations, is to actually move within life, move within fate, you know, and see through those actions how things are actually building or being built and affecting people around me. And I'm working on many things that are in different spheres. I'm producing a documentary in Haiti. Also writing another short film. I'm making art shows. And all these things, what's bringing me joy is to see them happen and see how they affect people and they accompany people in their lives.
So beautiful. And how do you bring joy to others?
Well, I think there's a part of sharing joy that is tied to empathy, that is tied also to sometimes forgive yourself and learn how to actually create space for others, because it's not always about you wearing the crown. It's also about sharing it or giving it away, because not everything is about me or about ourselves. And be a facilitator, you know, just to actually sit down with people and see how I can support them. Basically, and I'm doing that. You know, it's not like a concept, but I'm actually concretely doing that regularly, if not every day.
And tell us about the concrete action that you've taken even to support young emerging artists.
Yeah, I have a production company. A few years back, I think a year and a half ago, I supported a few young Black women directors I co-produce their short films. I'm also producing a short film on Haiti about corruption and impunity. I'm also supporting some programs. For example, I'm opening a new program at Aware, which is an organization that supports and put lights on the works of female artists. I also created a fund at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts to support underrepresented artists. So all these things are kind of ways to make a difference in people's lives and not just support, but be a vector of change in their lives. You know, that's important to me. That's important to me because I think we'll be measured by the things that we give, not the things that we take away with us, you know, when we have to go. So it's important to make sure I have a balance between the space I occupy and the space I create for others.
I love that. And not only are you having an impact on those individuals that you're helping, you're also having a broader impact on igniting a reflection on society, about societal changes, about the lack of harmony or equality that we may find in this world. And that's really what I've seen also a lot through your work, right? There is a poignant message behind a lot of the work that you've done. Can you tell us a little bit more about the key causes that often inspire you to basically create art?
Well, I don't think I have some particular causes. I mean, I've worked on certain moments in history, and I use my art to actually address that, because art can also be used as a tool to preserve certain histories and create bridges, obviously. But I think the main example I can take is that I made a series of a few years on the dictatorship that took place in Haiti, for example, which is a history that was, I don't want to say forgotten, but it wasn't occupying enough space for us to understand the legacy of what was happening and what's happening in Haiti right now. So I did that, and I've also worked on the idea of fluidity. Strangely enough, I did a show at the power plant, and during that show, while I was preparing for that show, me and the curator we talked about the Haitian Revolution, and I started working on Manuel Mathieu, who was a warrior, who was born as a woman, but I was born as a man, but I identified as a woman, and they dressed like a woman to go to war, and they had their own crowd and warriors. And for me, in voodoo and in several past and still present cultures, there's this fluidity around sexual energy, and the identification of that energy is something that has been dealt with by many cultures. So I've also touched that with my work, and how difficult it is to represent the blurred lines about our identity and about the space that we want to occupy, the kind of space that we want to occupy in the world. So, like I said in the beginning, my work is a tool for me to think, and the things I think about were sometimes related to Haiti, sometimes related to spirituality, sometimes related to my personal experiences, and sometimes about freedom, because I think Pendulum is also about that quest of equilibrium among each other, and how we carry certain burdens from the past, and how to deal with them.
So beautiful. Talking about burdens from the past, or rather experiences that have marked our lives. I know that in 2005, I believe, you had a...
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
I believe in 2015 you had an accident that really caused concussion, head concussion, basically fractures. Tell us about that experience, and how did it transform your view on life and your view on joy in life?
Well, first thing I'd like to say about that experience is that I really believe that everything that happens to me is mine. Everything that is on my journey is mine. So I'm not trying to avoid anything. I'm letting everything in, and I know that if it happens, it's to serve a purpose, and I just need to connect that purpose with the big purpose. So the first thing I had to do was make peace with that, with what happened, because it's the kind of accident that you're crossing the street and you wake up like 5 days later at the hospital. And you ask myself, why is this happening to me, right? But then you have to make peace with not finding the answers and accept that it doesn't matter why, it was yours, it's yours, it's part of who you are, and now you just need to embrace it within you and keep moving. So that this is the first thing I had to do, you know. And then after that, use it as a trampoline to start building, and take the time of vulnerability to reconnect with myself, which I did. And there was a shift in the content of my graduating show because of that. It was a whole body of work around that, where I actually studied vulnerability, solitude, all these kind of things. And it's interesting to also see painting as a way to manifest these kind of complex, I don't want to say emotions, but complex realities, you know, because there's a bunch of overlap, you know, whether it's historical overlaps, because I use that approach of trying to paint concepts in different chapters in my practice. But that's kind of how I did that. And regarding joy, I think just like any emotions, like colors, joys and colors never come alone. They always come with many other emotions. So it's a combination of emotions that, for me, what are the emotions that comes with joy? You know, I can say, strangely enough, gratitude, fear, a kind of, I don't want to, like a sense of peace, you know, being at your place. And all these things, it took me a while through the accident to get to that again. But then pretty quickly, when I started working again and putting things together and using what was left to me from the accident, I started feeling a balance, spiritual balance and an emotional balance. Yeah.
And do you feel that experience elevated somehow your creativity to a new level or not?
I don't know. I don't think I would say elevate. I changed it, for sure. You know, I mean, the idea of elevation is always from a perspective, right? Mm-hmm. And I haven't yet. I think I need more time because I'm still a young artist. You know, I need to, maybe in 20 years I'll be able to say, oh, what happened during that time that created this? And then I can say, oh, okay, this was part of it, you know. But right now I still think it definitely impacted my creativity. Obviously, I mean, I almost died, right? I mean, it impacted everything, you know, if I have to be honest with you. Now, did it elevated it or made it weaker? It changed my relationship with it. Let me just put it like that.
Beautiful. So these are blessings from life.
Oh, right? Yeah. I mean, and the only end is death. Until you're alive, you can still put back the seed in the soil and watch it grow. You know? So one of the projects that I'm actually working on that is bringing me a lot of joy and also excitement, it's this project at the Edouard Petit station, where I'm doing 5 big mosaic in the station. It's a project that is fairly new to me, working with the mosaic. Thankfully, I'm working with an amazing team at Mosaica, and it's a project that forced me to leave my comfort zone and to work differently, which I think these are some elements that actually expands my capacities. And you know, comfort is the neighbor of discomfort. So expanding my practice with different mediums, like I said at the beginning, in movies and sculpture, and then it brings a lot of joy and excitement, definitely. So this project is going to be delivered in 2024, and you're probably going to see some images of that slowly coming out of the studio.
What is most important for you as an artist?
I think what's important really is to actually operate from a place of honesty, which is what I'm trying to do as an artist. A place of connectivity, where a place of inclusion, where I'm actually inviting certain people in certain collaborations that expand a canon of what I understand what art can be. Through cinema, through the Mosaic project that you just saw. When I was younger, I wasn't looking for advice. What was important to me was to find a way to keep going, to keep doing what I was doing, because it was necessary for my balance. So if there's something that I think makes a lot of sense today and in general, it's to find something that brings you that joy that we talked about, and to fight for it, to maintain it, to cultivate it, and to find a space where you can share it.
While having a positive impact on the world, yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Beautiful. Great. Manuel, it's been an immense pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you continued success with all the endeavors that you plan to pursue.
Thank you.